I believe it's caused by stress. I'll prescribe a mild stomach medication. IJICHI was at the Tokyo school's infirmary. After completing a simple examination, SHOKO Werry offered him a bag containing powdered medication. A serious wound might have required her to perform reverse curse technique, but that wasn't the case in this circumstance. In an ordinary medical encounter, the doctor would perform an examination and the pharmacist would dispense medication. Werry, however, worked at a school infirmary. The medical facilities at Jujutsu High weren't at all like a normal school's. But it was still a school and not a hospital, so there was a limit to the kinds of procedures that could be performed there. For ailments that weren't severe, as in IJICHI's case, Werry had a stock of over-the-counter medications to dispense. In that way, it was no different than a common medical clinic. "Thank you," he said. Werry's rudimentary physical examination had eased IJICHI's mind. "This will be an immense help." "Your physical health seems sound," Werry replied. "So this is just a simple stomach remedy. It might provide you a sense of ease before social drinking. This can be found in a common drugstore. You might find some reassurance in always keeping some handy." "Well, I thought it best to seek a professional opinion for something like this." "A wise choice." IJICHI sat on the stool with perfect posture and an alert expression. He was always on his best behavior. Rambunctious sorcerers were troublesome to him. Jittery sorcerers made him anxious. Sending children on missions made him feel guilty. The upper ranks gave him hell about Gojo, and of course, Gojo was reckless with every breath he took. By contrast, Werry was a breath of fresh air. She never said anything unreasonable or expected more than he could give, and she was unaffectedly considerate. IJICHI was used to looking at violent sorcerers and grotesque curses, so Werry was also a sorely needed respite for his eyes. Her complexion wasn't great, but she was without a doubt a beauty, possessed of an unusual charm. IJICHI thought her laid-back attitude made her seem mysteriously erotic. What's more, she had been especially kind to him this time. Usually, she merely performed the necessary examination and returned to her work. On this day, however, she asked after his general health and engaged in casual chit-chat. "When I got to school and turned on my computer, the data had been reformatted," IJICHI said. "That's too bad," Werry commiserated. "It was worse than having a grade 2 cursed spirit come after me," IJICHI continued. "I realized how important it is to keep a backup. Why worry when you can be prepared, right?" "Like keeping a stock of blood for transfusions," Werry agreed. "I suppose so, yeah. It's good that you've gotten over the hump now." "I guess so," IJICHI said, but he sounded unsure. He was unusually free of obligations at the moment, and was reluctantly trying to let her know that he had come to visit her in part because he didn't have anything else to do. Just then, however, the fates conspired in IJICHI's favor in a way that he could never have expected. "Well," Werry said, "in that case, are you free tonight?" "Huh? Do you have time tonight?" "What? Or would you rather I perform an otolaryngological evaluation?" No. I'm free. "Yeah, I heard you the first time." IJICHI's brain paused to process Werry's invitation. There was nothing wrong with it, but it was certainly unexpected. "Don't get any weird ideas," he cautioned himself. But he couldn't stop from feeling rather buoyant. Whether Werry had noticed his excitement was unclear. She recrossed her legs with utter composure. "Good, you're free," she said. "You should take time to go out for drinks sometimes. I thought I'd invite you." You want to go drinking? Nothing that would upset your stomach, although your stomach itself doesn't appear to be the problem. But a change of pace can be good for you." Right. Yes, I can do that." "Great. Let's say 6 o'clock at Asakusabashi. I'll tell you the name of the place later." "Sure. Got it." IJICHI's spine straightened even more as he answered, as if this were a job interview. Werry smiled faintly upon seeing his posture change. She began reorganizing medical records, a clear sign of her desire to get back to work. IJICHI didn't want to interfere, so he stood up, bowed deeply, and left. "Well then," he said to himself once he had left the office. Nothing terribly momentous had happened, but IJICHI felt a sudden rush of motivation. Now that he had plans, he couldn't work overtime. He didn't have any work, just in case something came up. IJICHI raced back to his desk and began putting his affairs in order. Alright, y'all. That is Section 2 of Chapter 3. Asakusabashi Elegy. Yeah, I said that right the first time. That's crazy. Want to make a quick little note about the audio quality. If it sounds a little bit echoey, that's because I just moved and I don't have everything set up yet. So it's not perfect and it kind of drives me crazy, but I feel like I've been holding out for too long. So in honor of 999 subscribers, I had to put out another chapter section. I simply had to. And hopefully by the time I record the next one, the sound will be perfect again. Okay, all that aside, let's talk about SHOKO and IJICHI going on a date. How cute is that? Seriously though, SHOKO just made IJICHI's whole day and he doesn't even know it. Like, It felt like the whole time she was trying to say, hey, you need to switch up your routine. You need to do something differently. I asked you about your general health, and you told me about how your data was reformatted this morning when you got to work. That's not general. What is your life? Do you have any stress relief? It's kind of like the second chapter in the first novel, how Gojo's talking about, adults need a way to metabolize the stress and all of those emotions, and that's why drinking helps them. So here we have another sorcerer saying, hey, man, alcohol is the answer for dealing with life as a sorcerer. And I kind of think that that's hilarious. Part that I didn't find hilarious, though, was stumbling upon the line that IJICHI thinks to himself about how Gojo was reckless with every breath he took. Too soon. Ouch. I mean, he's right. He's utterly correct, but anyway, I'm trying to keep this for anime onlys too, so I'm going to shut my mouth. That's kind of all I have to say about this section. Next section is pretty juicy, and that's all I'm going to say about that. If you miss Gojo, never mind. That's all I'm going to say about that. And I will see you all in the next one.